even after you've mentally processed what had happened, you're back to a point where you're living your life and you've made peace with the wheelchair and you're just going on with life. Something that I wish I knew is that how life would change on a permanent basis in terms of, first of all, your sleep routine is not the same anymore. You have to move around more often. Every 2 or 3 hours you have to move your body and you have to wake up and physically move yourself around, otherwise you can get pressure sores, for instance. Going to the bathroom, something that you consider to be so natural and so easy, something that you almost do without thinking, now becomes a bit of a process. You have to think of timing because your whole, the whole movement of your bladder and your bowels and everything is also paralyzed. It's one thing to cope with it mentally. You're fine with being in a wheelchair, you've adapted your lifestyle. But something that does play a big role is that constant thought that life now, you need help doing it. And you have to adapt to that. That you need these products, you need certain things. I think what is lacking though is the variety of products that's available in rehabilitation. I feel like sometimes they teach you methods and ways, but there's actually a lot more out there that is available, possibly better ways. You must also remember, they're not the people in the wheelchair, you are. And someone in a wheelchair can always teach you better about life in a wheelchair than someone that's not in a wheelchair. Being in a wheelchair is all about figuring out how to do things. And I think I kind of enjoyed the challenge to a certain degree. I remember when I learned to swim. There was no one that could actually teach me how to swim. I even went to swim coaches. Now they can help me with stroke correction and all these kind of things, but they couldn't help me with buoyancy. For instance, how do I stay afloat? What do I do with my legs? How do I move my core in the water? Those kind of things. So I had to figure that out. So I post a lot of how-to videos, helping you and teaching you how to do certain things, like transferring in and out of a car, getting from the floor back into your wheelchair. How it all actually started, was just actually documenting these kind of things. And it took off. People actually found it quite interesting. What they found interesting is not specifically how a guy in a wheelchair is learning how to swim, for instance, because most of my audience is not people in wheelchairs. It's normal people. But I think what they found interesting is that here is someone with a disability or a disadvantaged situation, and they're actually just trying to make it. They're actually just not giving up. They're actually just doing something about it. And I think that's what really was the hook. It's just not giving up.
Easy as that.
The whole holistic approach of living healthy, it entails eating healthy and also exercising and just looking after your health. The whole exercise part, even in rehabilitation, and I keep on referring back to that because that really formed a foundation for where I am today. The stronger I am physically in my upper body, the easier the exercises became. The human body is incredible how it can adapt to a situation, that the strength in your arms can increase, obviously through exercise and discipline, to actually help you move around. And I'm fortunate that I've always been in sport and I love eating healthy, looking after myself, and just maintaining that lifestyle has really been beneficial for me. Now the question is really, how can we make it as easy as possible, as healthy as possible, and then as convenient as possible? And that's when the search came in for, okay, what product are we actually using here? What's available to me to use to make this not so pleasant activity as pleasant as possible, because I have to do it several times a day if you want to go to the loo. So the previous product that I use is a catheter that they put in a sheath with a sterilizing agent, of course. Now you can imagine there's no lubrication or anything, so you literally just rinse it under the tap with water and then you have to use it. Now the problem comes in that you don't have complete feeling over that part of your body. So you can be damaging your urethra and you don't even know about it. And with years of use, you can completely destroy that part of your body without even knowing it. And then you've got, major problems a few years down the line. So it's things like that that we don't necessarily think of until you've seen a better product, like the Coloplast, which is a lubricated sheath. And it's just a lot easier to use, a lot more convenient, and then also, a lot more healthier for your body. I think what really helped me to approach my medical aid funder is just by stating the facts, looking at the reasons why exactly should they fund for a better product such as Coloplast. And just stating the facts that, look, what helped me is I showed them my medical history, that when I was on my previous catheter, these are the amount of times that I actually was diagnosed with a bladder infection. And you can look at the frequency. And then since I've been on Coloplast, the frequency, considerably decreased. Now, you can't, the facts don't lie. It is a struggle always to get that funding, to get 100% funding for this more expensive product. And I think it's because they don't necessarily see the value or the need in it. Because on paper, you just see a product that does cost a bit more, but they don't see the value in, by keeping me out of the hospital is actually more beneficial for the medical aid than just paying a bit more for the products that I use. It absolutely took a few conversations in getting the funding, escalating the matter the whole time. So persistence is a huge key in getting it funded.